In this video, we're going to talk about why Marvel Rivals is going to be the next big hit game. Now, normally, I'm not somebody that hypes up IP. I don't think it's something that long-term matters for the vast majority of games. However, this is a very special exception. The type of game this is a hero shooter. That is the name of the genre of game this is in. This game has the heroes. You know, the heroes. When people think of heroes, they think of these characters. The most iconic characters that are identifiable throughout nearly every culture in the world. This game has those heroes in it. That's a big deal. That is a really, really big deal. And no, this game can't rest on its laurels of just having the IP. But man, if you're a hero shooter and you have the heroes, that's a pretty big deal. This game is a Marvel fan's wet dream with all of the Easter eggs and inside jokes and all of the little things that the super fans are going to see, but also as like a more casual, fan of superhero movies here and there. It's just kind of cool to be Spider-Man, fighting Iron Man, fighting the Hulk. Like, it's just a fun experience. It really taps into that toddler mentality of when you were, 5 years old and you had all your action figures and you had the army men fighting, the Superman. Like, it's just fun to do that, and it taps into your childhood creativity. And I personally really love these games like Smash Brothers, where you just take all the things and make them fight. Like, it's just fun. Star Wars Battlefront, another example where it's just like take all the Star Wars people that have ever existed and make them fight. Like, that's just fun, and I think people really like that. And this game is definitely going for that just craziness of anything goes in the Marvel universe. Let them fight, and I like that. Just look at the gameplay footage. I'm playing Spider-Man right now, doing Spider-Man things, how Spider-Man would do them, fighting iconic Marvel heroes and villains. And they're also doing their iconic moves and things against me. Like, that's just cool. Now let's talk about the things I enjoy about this game. Obviously, the IP is a huge win. Being a hero shooter and having the heroes, I mean, nobody else can compete with that. But the gameplay is pretty solid. There's going to be some tweaks made, I'm sure, balance-wise, but for their first showing, their first real showing, I know there was an alpha, but like this is their first real showing to a wider audience. The balance is not that bad. There are a few heroes that are a little better than others, specifically in the tank and healer category. There are just a handful in there that are just better than all the other ones, but for the most part, it's pretty solid. Really can't knock the gameplay too much. I've been playing this game a lot, which is why there haven't been any YouTube videos on my channel recently, because I've been playing this game. That's why this video is late. And I'm going to play after I edit this video. So the gameplay is good enough that my teeth are in this game. I really have been enjoying it. The game also runs really well, and in my opinion, the stylized art looks pretty damn good, and I think it will age well. I haven't had any frame rate issues. I did have some rubber banding issues, and I will say that earlier on, some of the fast-moving characters sort of like jittered across the screen, and you still sometimes see that with like Spider-Man in particular, where he moves so fast that like he'll, instead of moving smoothly across the screen, he'll just sort of like stutter. And maybe that's just a beta server, servers getting hammered kind of thing. And sometimes you'll rubber band where like you'll run forward and then rubber band back. But I think that's just kind of a beta issue. But for the most part, everything runs smoothly and looks visually pretty good. The hero designs, for the most part, are fantastic. They did a really good job at nailing how the heroes play and how you think they should play and how they should interact with other people. Perfect example, what you're looking at right now, Spider-Man. I'm swinging around the map, webbing people, doing Spider-Man things, saying Spider-Man voice lines. It's looking and feeling and playing exactly how you think it should. And it's one of those things where you don't really appreciate it unless they do it wrong. Same goes with all these other heroes, like Black Panther. He's agile, he's fast, he runs up walls, he does crazy Black Panther stuff. Doctor Strange, a tank, doing crazy portal stuff with a portal shield and literally setting up portals, and just it's exactly what you think he should do. Nothing seems out of place, and it's all very unique. There's also a ton of varied gameplay across these different heroes. Some of these heroes, like Spider-Man, are straight up ripped out of a single-player game. Spider-Man is incredibly unique. He's got a web-slinging mechanic. He can lunge to people. He has Street Fighter-style melee combos. It's really cool what they've done with Spider-Man. But then you also have some of the more traditional FPS heroes, like Hela and Punisher. Hela is like kind of like your revolver-style character. You shoot twice a second. And then the Punisher, full auto, also has a shotgun. Then some of the healers, some of them are more standard. Some of them... there's lots of different things you can do with all of these heroes, and there's just a ton of different gameplay styles, and they did a great job with it. Some of them are more traditional, like, you know, the Hela Punisher style. Same goes to the tanks. Some of them are more like traditional shield tanks. And then some of them are sort of a mix, like Iron Man. Iron Man is kind of the rocket launcher style projectile hero. But then he also does some movie stuff where he's like, you know, he turns into Iron Man with this crazy like flower thing and lasers people. And then he can zoom around in Iron Man mode and shoot out rockets out of his back. Like, it's really cool how some of them are straight up their own unique thing, like Spider-Man. And then some are just really grounded in FPS. And then others, like Iron Man, are sort of a mix of both. And I think that is fantastic. The next thing this game does really well that people aren't giving it credit for is the voice acting. The voice acting in this game is so good, you don't even notice it. Everything sounds exactly like it should. And it's eerie. Iron Man sounds exactly like Iron Man should sound. Spider-Man sounds exactly like Spider-Man should sound. And this really adds to the immersion of the game when everything looks and sounds and feels the way it should. I mean, wow. I really, if you haven't played this game, or maybe you have played this game and you're thinking like, oh, wow, you know, everything really does sound like it should. Like Hela, you know, Hela's kind of like a more of a side character, but like she sounds like Hela should sound. Thor sounds like Thor should sound. Even like Jeff the Shark, like silly ass characters. You're like, you know what? Yeah, that's exactly how I think that little fucker should sound. And all of it really comes together when they're quipping back and forth with each other, like Spider-Man and Venom will talk back and forth, or you'll kill somebody on the other team and they'll have a voice line for that specific character. It's really well done. And the whole package, when you put it together, A+. I mean, they really, really nailed this part of the game. The cosmetics for this game are going to pop off. Like, it's not even fair. Why? Because they don't have to design anything. They have 60 plus years of pre-market tested cosmetics to put on the shop. Why do I say this? Because Marvel's been around for so long and they've created so many different iterations and variants of all of the different heroes and costumes that they know what's good. They know the Iron Man suits that people love, and they have hundreds to choose from. They know the Spider-Man suits that people love, and they're already market tested. The cosmetics for this game are going to be absolutely insane. Are they probably going to charge a shitload of money for them? Almost certainly. But they're probably going to be really damn cool. So I think that's going to just be absolutely nuts. And speaking of nuts, they're going to go bananas with the heroes in this game. And they already have shown that they're not afraid to not take themselves too seriously with adding characters like Jeff the Land Shark, which is clearly a side character. I've never even heard of this character. It's probably just some side whatever character throwaway thing. But they added him into the game because they, you know, needed a healer niche, I guess, or for some reason they added him to the game, and people fucking love the little guy, and he's cute as hell. So I don't know, I'm kind of a fan, but I like that they're not afraid to take themselves too seriously, because that really opens the door up to a lot of different possibilities. They have so many different characters they can choose from. I mean, they haven't even added the heavy hitters into the game, like Captain America. You know he's coming. The Fantastic Four. They have none of the Fantastic Four in there. The entirety of the X-Men. They can add them to the game. I guess they have Magneto in the game right now, but they can add Wolverine. I mean, they have so many things they can add to this game. It's actually crazy. Deadpool. Dude, you know that the game, you know they're saving Deadpool for like a seasonal update to bring people back or something. They have so many, you know, break this glass in case of emergency style characters they can put in this game. It's actually not fair. It's insane. And the last thing I like about this game is that they are very clearly all in on this project. This is not a project where they're, you know, waiting to see how the market receives it, and if people receive it well, then they'll invest more money into it. No, they have been investing a ton of money into this from the very start. They're pushing all their chips to the front of the table. And the reason I say that is because they already have core systems in the game that are very difficult to develop. And these systems are things like kill cams, theater mode, play of the game, individual highlights for each player after every single game. These systems, especially things like kill cams, people have no idea how difficult it is to make a kill cam system, how difficult it is to have a theater mode system. Most of these systems only exist in the big heavy hitter style games like Call of Duty. And even Call of Duty, got rid of their theater mode for a very long time. I think they're bringing it back in the newest game because these are very difficult things to do. And the fact that they have these systems right off the bat means that they are all in. They spent a lot of time and money getting these systems up and running. Having all of these systems in the game already in the beta means that they are not screwing around with this game. They are all in, and I'd expect there will be an esports scene because there's already a theater mode with a spectator client in the game right now. This is very clearly a game they are developing for the long term. They are not waiting to see how it goes. They're not, sticking their toe in the water and seeing if it's, warm or not. No, they are all in, and I like that. And I think that they got a lot going for them here, guys. They really do. Now let's talk about the things I don't like about Marvel Rivals. And the number one thing, and I think what most people would agree with, is I just want more maps. There's really not that many maps in the game right now. Yes, it's beta. I'm sure they're making more. I will say the maps they do have in the game are pretty good. The only one I don't like is the Odin's Library one, the one with the pillar in the center. That map is out. That map is terrible. But that's the only one. And even the other two maps associated with that King of the Hill game mode are pretty good. So just that one is bad. So I will say their design overall for the maps is pretty solid. But there's just not enough. They need more. Next thing I'm concerned with is roll lock. There is no roll lock in the game, meaning that you can have 3 healers and 3 tanks on your team, or 5 DPS and 1 tank, or whatever. You can do anything you want to with any of the roles. There is no locked 2-2-2 format. And I'm a little concerned about that. And the reason I'm concerned is because with hero shooters in particular, it's very easy for the developers to fall into a trap of slowly power creeping the tanks and healers more and more and more, because the easiest way to make a tank or a healer fun is to just make them a little bit OP. If you're playing a tank, you don't want to feel like you're attacking people with a wet noodle. In fact, that's one of the biggest complaints about the Hulk right now, is that you're the Hulk. You're a big, green, mean killing machine, and you just don't do that much damage. It just feels awkward jumping around as this huge muscled up dude punching people in the face and it doing no damage. It's just bizarre, especially in a hero shooter like this where, your tanks are Doctor Strange, Thor, and Hulk. Like, these are, heroes that have fucking cool powers. Surely they'll do some damage, right? So it's an easy trap to fall into, to just make Thor's hammer do a little bit more damage than maybe it should, because the rule of cool. If it's cool, then do it, right? And same thing with healers. Nobody wants to play a healer where you just feel like you're hopeless and you can't get a kill in a first-person shooter game, or a third-person shooter game. Nobody wants to have that either. So you just end up slowly power creeping the tanks and healers, and then you make a new tank, and you need that tank to be competitive with the old tanks, so you have to make it just as powerful as the other old OP tank. So you can kind of see how that would happen over time. The reason I'm concerned about Marvel Rivals is because the tanks and healers in Marvel Rivals are very cool and very fun. Playing as Venom is cool as hell. Swinging around, doing cool Venom stuff, playing as Thor, doing crazy lightning stuff, it's very cool. And even the healers, Adam Warlock, you can pop off on Adam Warlock. You think that's a healer? Oh my god. You got that hit scan, headshots. Woo! You can do some crazy stuff with the tanks and the healers in this game. Jeff the Land Shark eating people up, spitting them off the map. I mean, come on now. A lot of these heroes are really fun to play, and I could absolutely see a situation where, just like in Overwatch, the healers and the tanks become dominant, because the tanks in this game do pretty damn good damage, dude. Groot will surprise you. Groot will surprise you, and he'll fuck you up, and you'll be like, that was Groot that did that to me? So yeah, I'm a little skeptical. Marvel Rivals is going to attempt to not have a roll lock, but I don't know. I think when it comes to competitive, I think it's just going to deteriorate into healers and tanks. But I'd love to be wrong. Genuinely, I'd love to be wrong, but from my experience playing the game, I just don't see how a lot of these DPS characters are going to be able to penetrate the insanely high healing potential and crazy health pools that you can combo together with some of these characters. So, I don't know. We'll see. And the last thing I don't like about this game is the publisher. The publisher of this game is NetEase Games. Now, I know NetEase is like a giant multinational conglomerate that is just huge, and likely a bunch of Americans worked on this game. That company is so big that it's not really a Chinese company, but it definitely still is. It's one of those deals. But my inner American just doesn't like that we lost. Like, they cooked with this game. This game is just good. It's just a damn good game. And normally, the United States, we just sort of win when it comes to video games. A big multiplayer game like this would normally be a Blizzard, Microsoft, Valve, Activision, EA. It'd be one of our guys. But no, this one, NetEase. Chinese game company. Now, I will say, there is a silver lining. This game is on Steam, and you do not have to download, what is the name of Valorant's? Vanguard. You don't have to download any, Chinese spyware to play this game. The game is on Steam. You launch it through Steam. There is no, third-party launcher. There is no crazy spyware you have to download for this game. So, I will say that, there's not any issues there, but my inner American just doesn't like that, China cooked so hard with this. But I can't really hate. The game launches through Steam. There's no other third-party downloads. There's no additional launchers. It's a fun, smooth experience. Yes, did the United States take the L where we normally take the W? Yeah, but it's a damn good game, and I'm going to be playing the hell out of it, really enjoying the beta, and I'm going to be sad when the beta goes down and I have to wait for this thing to come out because I'm having a blast. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Have a good one.